Hey, it's Frano. This is something I made like a couple weeks ago, roughly. And I know it's kind of like simple and a bit childish, but I'm going to break down for you some of my opinions on living in truth and living in lies and what kind of comes along with that. So, the ultimate truth is having clarity, not being bothered about material, having space. See at the top there, spacious. And the ultimate lie is being clogged with matter and illusion. This is like things that we don't need, and if we get too overwhelmed with physical matter and lies and mental baggage and things like that, it can be quite a bad way to live, as opposed to being free, spacious, and mindful. And then we see here, so I've written, so you have, if you're living in truth, you tend to have a higher or strong source connection, some kind of religious or other connection. Although you can earn monetary rewards as well, the rewards that you gain are kind of like trials and tribulations that you overcome and moving up towards your highest level of consciousness, so they transcend just money. They come in long-term things like family, marriage. Service is directly divine, which means when you're connected to spirit or God, religion, or anything like that, you kind of feel like your service, at the best of times, it's doing directly what you're an instrument to spirit and God. And I'm not saying you're an instrument like you're under control, you still have complete free will, but you have a feeling and knowing that you're doing the work of the good work, basically. Whereas on the other side of things, you have very little source connection if you're too clogged with lies and materials. The rewards you get are only temporary, because when you die, you take your experiences and memories, but you can't take any of the cars or possessions. You can only take memories of what you've done, really, and how you've dealt with your trials and tribulations. The service is to chaos, because generally if you're living a lie, you're just further wrapping up a mummy, or you're further sweeping more dirt under the carpet. So you're actually serving evil systems, evil people, evil activities, such as you go into the police force as a good, honourable person wanting to generally clean out crime, and you end up being swayed along the way to realising that a lot of crime goes on within the institution, and there's a lot of crooked cops along the way that still have their jobs, and there's a lot of crooked government work going on and other things. But there's a lot of good as well. This is the more extreme version of when you're serving something that is evil, like a corrupt institution. And then on the other side of things, if you're living in the truth, you feel unique. You feel like you're independent individual. I like the word interdependent. I always use that. That's the ultimate goal, really, to be interdependent in every sense of the word. So we have free will, we have free time, place, solar energy. This is not just dependent on truth, this is dependent on the system that you live in, the country you live in, how it is, your age, what stage you are in your life. If you're retired, a child, you have more free time. If you're a student, you have more free time than when you're working 9 till 5. You have more energy. If you're connected with spirit, you'll have more solar energy. So you'll be doing your meditation, you'll be wasting less energy on thoughts. You'll be having more energy to spend in other things and things that you love. You'll be true. This is a big thing here. You'll own up. You'll own up to what you do, and you'll live with no regrets. If you're false, you'll be covering up things, always trying to change the subject, or always trying to move on with things rather than dealing with things. This can lead to anxiety, can lead to stress, disease. If you're falsifying things too much, it can lead to being bribed. You can be bribed for the things that you're covering up. If you're being true and admitting to what you're doing as you do it, this is kind of like, as the Bible does, the confession, or musicians confess in ways, like myself. You kind of feel like you're not carrying any extra weight with you in your life. So you have your free will there, and if you're living a lie or you're living in a stressful, tending to be high-paid job, you'll have less time, you'll have to be at specific places, you'll have less freedom to move places as much, maybe, or the job could allow a lot of travel and movement, and you tend to have less energy because you have to put more hours in to get more financial goals. And if you look not in just terms of work, if you're living a lie, you're manipulating yourself, you're manipulating your experience and falsifying your experience. You're more easily labelled, perhaps. I feel like if you're your true self, you're quite a unique, conscious individual. Whereas if you're what society can make you, you're just a labelled individual. So that's about it. Something I came up with. It's a nice little diagram. I know it's kind of kid stuff, quite basic, but it's important to point these things out sometimes and get these teachings aren't just for adults, they're for young people, kids, anyone that wants a bit of knowledge on how things can go with truth and lies. Here we go. So it's Frano, over and out. Peace in and out, and my full gratitude to all of you. I love you all.